So your guitarist has quit the band and you're the one left playing the chords. Where do you start? Don't worry, Tom's here to help you out. So with level 1, we start with 2 note chords, or their official name, 10th chords. We have this major shape, like this G major, or we have this minor shape, like this A minor. And we can move them around to play basic progressions. So we have a very basic pop song progression, like G major, A minor, D major, and C major. So you can see how my third finger is staying on the G string, and it's a note on the E string, which is determining which chord it is. So on the 3rd fret for the G, 5th fret for the A, 10th fret for the D, and the 8th fret for the C. Well, 2, so 10th chords are fine, but let's play a 3 note chord instead, because more notes equals more options. But wait, we have a problem. The more notes you play on a bass chord, the muddier it sounds. So we want to avoid playing too low down the neck. But we could go up 12 frets to play an octave higher, and then the chords will sound much clearer. So here's my G chord, and it's now played on the 15th fret. My A minor chord we play on the 17th fret. I can't go much higher on the neck without getting to an uncomfortable position. So I still need to play my D major chord on the 10th fret and my C major chord on the 8th fret. So basically try and play the chords as high as you can without getting uncomfortable. So here are a few options with the chords. We could play them as a block, or we could pick the notes. Or we could roll the chords. Or we could combine that. Now, one thing that many will struggle with on that minor shape is placing a bar across all the strings. So my index finger is covering all the strings of the 15th fret. And to get that right, you need to make sure that your index finger is right up against the fret. And that's going to take a while for many of you to get the strength to be able to do that. So you really need to persist. Level 3. For level 3 we have power chords. These are borrowed from electric guitar, and they're just a shape that you can move around easily. They take the 3rd out from the chords, so they're very raw sounding, and you can make up cool riffs just by moving the shape around. So to play the shape, you find the root. Here's a G on the D string, and the 5th will be 1 string down and 2 across. You just move that shape around. You could play a G here or here, but down here it's probably going to sound a little bit too muddy. With your plucking hand, you could use 2 fingers, or if you're feeling adventurous, you can do the Les Claypool from Primus thing and strum the string, kind of like you're strumming guitar. But when you're strumming, you do need to be careful to mute the strings with your left hand so that you're only strumming the strings which you're holding down. For level 4, you could like the video if you find it helpful. I mean, we could try some jazzy sounding chords like this G major 7, or this A minor 7, or this D dominant 7, and then back to the C major 7. But jazz needs a bit more jazz, so you can try some basic walking between the chords. And for level 5, we have THUNDERCAT level and Sweep Arpeggios. The arpeggios today are similar to the arpeggiated chords used by THUNDERCAT on his track How Sway from his latest album. And by playing fast arpeggios, you can get that Mario Kart vibe, which is a good thing. I don't know if THUNDERCAT sweeps it like I'm going to do or plucks every note, but the man is a king, so I don't ask questions. So with the arpeggio, instead of playing all the notes of the chord at the same time like I've done with the other chords today, I play one note at a time. So for this first chord, which is the G minor 9, I play the root, which is the G, I play the flat 3rd, I play the 5th, I play the flat 7, and then I also play the 9 on top, which adds that little bit of extra spice. So now I need to kind of play that along in a rhythm. And to be able to get the speed, I need to use a hammer on the A string, and on the G string a hammer and pull off. Now, as these experts will tell you, sweep arpeggios are much more difficult than the other chords today, and the speed I'm playing them is pretty leisurely compared to THUNDERCAT, but at all speeds you can get some pretty cool sounds by trying out different chord combinations, so I think they are worth giving a go. Big thanks to all my patrons, especially my VIP patron, and you can check out these videos as well.